Lake Orion voters took part in the primary election to narrow down the field of candidates running in November and to decide the fate of several millage proposals. We'll have the results coming up. Dozens of trucks and vehicles were on display at Friendship Park for Orion Township's 15th annual Big Rig Gig. The perfect summer weather made the event the most successful yet. The streets of downtown Lake Orion were closed off for the annual Kids and Kops Charity Cruise, sponsored by Galling Buick GMC, and the turnout was tremendous. High school coaches and players looked ahead to the varsity football season during the OAA's Media Day at Rochester High School. On Tuesday, August 7th, Michigan voters were asked to go to the polls to narrow down the field of candidates running in November and to determine the fate of several millage proposals. Overall, the percentage of registered voters who took part in the primary election was up significantly, and Lake Orion Precinct 6 hit 44%, and Precinct 3 claimed a 42% turnout, according to the county's website. In the race for governor, Republican Bill Schuette received 51% of the vote to advance to the November general election. On the Democratic side, Gretchen Whitmer received 54% of the vote to advance, defeating Abdul El Sayed and Sri Tenadar. Incumbent Mike Bishop will advance in the race to represent the 8th District in Congress after receiving almost 94% of the vote. He will face Democrat Alyssa Slotkin, who advanced with 79% of the vote. In the race to represent the 12th District in the state Senate, Republican Michael D. McCready narrowly defeated Tim Tedder by less than 300 votes. He will face Rosemary Bayer in November, who ran unopposed. In the race to represent the 46th District in the state legislature, Mindy Denninger defeated Tom Watson with 78% of the vote to Watson's 21%. Denninger moves on to face Republican John Riley, who ran unopposed. Lake Orion voters were also asked to determine the fate of 3 millage proposals. A safety path millage renewal was approved with 57% voting yes. A proposed Parks and Recreation millage was also approved by voters with 5,300 yes votes to 3,967 no votes. Voters also approved a millage renewal benefiting the North Oakland Transportation Authority by more than a 2-to-1 margin.
We're just very grateful for the community to go out to the election day on August 7th and to vote in support of all the millages, Parks and Rec millage, Safety Path, and NOTA as well. They're great community benefits, and we will make sure to use your dollars wisely and to enhance our community.
What is planned for the parks? Will this money go to anything specific or just kind of maintenance?
Yeah, so we roughly have, I'd say about $1 million planned for capital outlay improvements over the next 5 years, so $1 million each year. Right off the bat, we're going to look to do Peterson Lodge renovations, offer a bunch of free trips for the seniors, some Wildwood improvements, just much needed renovations and updating of our facilities.
The general election will take place on Tuesday, November 6th. If you haven't registered to vote yet, you must do so at least 30 days before the election by submitting a voter registration application to the Township Clerk or Secretary of State branch office. If you are unable to attend a polling booth on Election Day, you can request an absentee voter ballot. For more information, visit oakgov.com. Throughout the year, Orion Township Parks and Recreation hosts a wide variety of events for local families to enjoy. On Friday, August 3rd, Orion Township hosted its 15th annual Big Rig Gig at Friendship Park. 24 businesses and organizations provided vehicles of every shape and size, including trucks, tractors, and emergency vehicles.
What is not to go nuts over? Anything with a horn, I think, is the most popular. The road commission vehicles with the big plow, because the kids see those a lot. The fire trucks, because they've got the lights and sirens. Everything. It's just overwhelming. I'm a big kid at heart. I just love this.
A perfect summer day brought out a record turnout for the annual event. It's estimated that more than 600 cars came through the entrance at Friendship Park.
I love to have people come out to the park, spend time with their family, and have a good time. I mean, you just see so many smiling, happy faces. This is what Parks and Rec is all about, having a good time with your family.
Quite possibly the highlight of the evening for most attendees was the arrival of a helicopter from Life Flight of Michigan. The chopper circled overhead a few times before gently touching down in Friendship Park.
This helicopter is what we call a helicopter air ambulance service, where the helicopter is, of course, used similar to what you would use for a ambulance on the road. We carry a crew of 3 people. We have a pilot, we have a nurse, and we have a medic. And actually today we actually have a resident on board as well, so we're lucky to have that. And we just respond to scene calls, what you'll see out there, a vehicle accident on the side of Road 75. We've done a couple of those. But predominantly what we do is we move patients that are in a situation where they need a higher level of care, so we'll move them to a facility that will provide that adequately.
How often does this make that trip, like maybe per week?
We average, for a year, we average about 1 flight a day. On average.
Oh, wow.
Some days you may have 4 flights, some days you may have 0. But on average, we average about 1 a day right now.
So it sounds like, a pretty high-stress job. Describe what it's like to come out to an event like this.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, this is my dream job, so this is awesome. Anytime I fly, even when we're flying patients around, I just drive. These guys in the back are truly amazing with what they're able to do in a small, confined space with the equipment they have on board. I mean, we have guys that are over 6 feet tall cramming themselves in the back of this thing, and if you haven't seen it to understand how tight everything is in there and what they're able to accommodate and do, it's really remarkable. So as far as I go, I love driving, so I just drive. That's all I do.
Next up, families are invited to help the township celebrate the 100th anniversary of Camp Agawam on Saturday, October 6th. For information about this and other upcoming events and programs, visit orionparks.com or call 248-391-0304, extension 3500. Throughout the year, the Orion Veterans Memorial hosts several ceremonies to honor those who have fought for our country. Recently, members of the community were invited to enjoy coffee with a veteran. On Saturday, August 11th, numerous veterans hung out at the Orion Veterans Memorial from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. to chat with visitors. Coffee and donuts were provided during the event, which is in its 4th year.
I think our mission here today is to let younger people know what our veterans have done and are going through still to keep our country the good country that it is, and it is a good country. I don't know, we've had our post commander, state commander speak today and tell us how important veterans are to other veterans. And we do try to take care of our own veterans, helping veterans. That's our big mission, I guess, and then we devote a lot of time and effort into doing that. But we need to also help our young people and let them and keep them reminded of what these guys have done.
Posing for photos with veterans was Sue Murray, who was there representing the Yankee Air Museum at the Willow Run Bomber plant, where Rosie the Riveter helped assemble over 8,600 B-24 Liberator bombers during World War II.
Well, I think it's a great honor when I'm able to come out and see the vets who served. And it doesn't matter what war, it doesn't matter when. The women who supported the men, I mean, you fight it just as much on the home front as you do in the trenches. And just to know that they did that for their country, and I paid tribute to them.
Next up on the calendar is the annual Patriot Day ceremony scheduled for Tuesday, September 11th, beginning at 7:30 p.m. There will also be a dedication of a bicentennial fountain and Michigan historic marker prior to the ceremony. For more information, visit OrionVeteransMemorial.com. Many Lake Orion residents might not be aware of a hidden gem located in the heart of the village. Recently, the Lake Orion Horseshoe Club hosted a major tournament.
That's good job.
On Saturday, August 11th, more than 20 teams from throughout Michigan gathered in Lake Orion for the Michigan Horseshoe Pitchers Association State Doubles Tournament. Participants were divided into classes and competed for plaques and cash prizes.
We rank teams by their combined ringer percent. So you take the two players, you add their ringer percents together, and that's their team ringer percent. And so we rank them highest to lowest, and the top several 5 or 6 pitchers become Class A, and they pitch a round robin in their class. The next group is Class C. B, next group is Class C, next group is Class D. And in your class, first place gets plaques. We hand out plaques plus some monetary prizes for the first 3 places.
It's not the first time the Lake Orion Horseshoe Club has hosted a tournament of this magnitude. The club is proud to show off its well-kept courts to participants.
The Lake Orion has hosted this specific tournament for several years now, and it's really one of the better sites in the state, and they do an excellent job of hosting the tournament and having everything prepared properly, having the foods and all that stuff available. They do a marvelous job, and we're happy that they continue to host this.
For more information about the MHPA, visit horseshoemichigan.com. If you'd like to join the Lake Orion Horseshoe Club, which has been around since 1960, visit pitchwithus.com/Lake Orion. They also have a Facebook page. The Lake Orion Police Association offers several programs benefiting the area's youth. These programs wouldn't be possible without the support of local businesses and community groups. Recently, a major fundraiser was held in downtown Lake Orion, and ONTV's Joe Johnson was there.
On Saturday, August 4th, the streets of downtown Lake Orion were closed off for the 2018 Kids and Kops Charity Cruise. Hosted by Gowling Buick GMC, the car cruise is in its 11th year, moving into downtown Lake Orion in 2015.
We started it out at Gowling's, and between Mr. Cooper and Jerry Narsh, they decided that we'd like to do something different. And bringing it down to the village is a special thing. A lot of these guys, the drivers, like it being down here. It's a fun event, and it's a good one for us for Gowling because we're helping support the businesses down here.
Registration started at 8. I got here at about 6:45, and we already had about 40 cars. So they started early, lining up early. It's going to be 88 degrees and sunny, no wind. I mean, it's just a beautiful day for a car show, and not just a car show, but it's kind of like a downtown family party. So we've got live music, we got Rock and Ronnie spinning them. Thanks to Gowling Buick GMC and all of our supporters, we're going to have a really cool day.
More than 200 classic cars, muscle cars, and hot rods lined up along Broadway, Flint Street, and Front Street, with trophies handed out at the end of the day. DJ Rock and Ronnie spun the oldies, with the band 2 Days Gone performing live music. The money raised at the event went to the Lake Orion Police Association's Kids and Cops programs.
We asked for donations from the drivers. All our car shows are free, but we always ask for a donation for the charity. We just had an all-you-can-eat pancake breakfast, which I'm proud to announce was sold out completely. We ran out of everything. They'll have a 50-50 drawing. The police department is also selling some items, so we're trying to generate as much money as we can for them to help their our Cops with Kids program.
All of the funds today are going to go into our We Call Kids and Cops Fund, and that funds not just our Kids and Cops program, but our youth sports teams, our youth charities, pretty much everything we do through our police association for youth. These types of events go into that and fund all of our activities throughout the year, help fund them.
Shop with a Hero, part of that too?
It is. We get a lot of donations at the time of Shop with a Hero, and because we have a motto that will take any child up until the day of the event, a lot of times we'll have to dip into the funds, so we maintain a fund. Some of these funds go into the Shop with a Hero as well.
Gowling Buick GMC is planning a huge super cruise for its final car show of the season. Scheduled to take place on Saturday, September 15th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., the cruise will benefit Orion Area Youth Assistance. For more information, call 248-435-3091. From downtown Lake Orion, this is Joe Johnson reporting for ONTV News.
Thanks, Joe. Way back on June 9th, the Orion Township Library kicked off its annual summer reading program. The summer went by in the blink of an eye, and the library recently celebrated the end of the program. On Saturday, August 11th, over 200 kids and parents gathered at the library to enjoy a magic show and to take part in a raffle for fantastic prizes, courtesy of the Friends of the Library. The event was the library's way of rewarding those who took part in the summer reading program.
So the prizes come from funding of the Friends of the Library. We get some money from the Friends of the Library to go out and purchase some great prizes to encourage our kids to keep reading throughout the summer. So the grand prize, the kids get reading prizes throughout the summer depending on how much reading they do. And then when they reach the end of that, they can put their name in a drawing for a grand prize. And the grand prizes have been on display in our showcase all summer long. So I think some kids have had their eye on specific ones. They put their little ticket in whichever one they want, and we draw out a winner today.
Throughout the summer, those who took part in the program were encouraged to keep track of their progress on the library's website.
I hope that the kids enjoyed reading. When they're not in school, they don't have to read it, and so they come to the library because they want to read, hopefully, or their parents want them to read. We hope they found something new to read this summer. Our theme was Libraries Rock, so it was about the fun things that you can get from the library. It's not just about reading a book necessarily, but we encourage that very much. But they can also check out some of the other fun things we have at the library: movies, music, video games, board games, puppets, all sorts of fun stuff for the kids here.
To keep up to date on the events and programs offered by the Orion Township Library, be sure to visit orionlibrary.org, or you can call 248-693-3000. High school football fans are eagerly anticipating the start of the season, which is right around the corner. Recently, the Oakland Activities Association hosted an event that invited players and coaches to meet with members of the media. Sammy Termina was there to represent ONTV.
On Friday, August 3rd, the Oakland Activities Association hosted its 5th annual Varsity Football Media Day at Rochester High School. Coaches and players from 23 high schools were on hand to meet with the media to discuss the upcoming football season. I had a chance to talk to some of the coaches representing the OAA Red Division, including second-year Lake Orion Dragons coach John Blackstock. Talk about how this Media Day has been to you.
Media Day is always exciting. Opportunity to get to see some of the great athletes that are in this conference. And just as important, get to hear from the great coaches in this conference.
Talk about the big concerns, of course. One of the concerns I have is the secondary position for you guys. How's that secondary looking?
We're excited. We've got 2 returning guys at corner, and Marcus Brown and Sam Perillo. But we've got some young guys from the JV team that are coming up and have done a really good job in the summer 7-on-7 and the summer trainings, which are really going to push Marcus and Sam for those starting positions and be in the mix of being able to play. At safety, that's probably what you're talking about is the biggest concerns. But we're excited. We've got some kids back there like Russell Hastings and Lucas Spencer, Drew Van Hack, among a couple others that are underclassmen that are really pushing each other. Right now I see about 4 guys that are battling for that starting spot.
What are your expectations this year, Coach?
Expectations are the same. Those don't change, of being a contender and right in the hunt, battling for that OAA title and trying to make the playoffs.
I got Oxford coach Bud Riley here, of course. Coach Riley, one of the things we talked about last year, and I know when we talked was your defense, of course. It was a rough year last year for your defense.
It was a very rough year, very rough. We didn't do well, but this is this year, and that's what we're looking forward to. We're looking for 2018. We're looking for Romeo's coming to our house the 24th.
How's your quarterback situation looking?
Our quarterback is very good. He was our tailback last year. He's very athletic. His name is Drew Carpenter. He's 6 foot tall. He's 180 pounds, and he's an athlete. So we're looking forward to Drew coming in and running the show.
What is your expectation this year, Coach?
Win.
We got Adams football coach Tony Petrino here, of course. Last year was a very successful year for you guys. Let's talk about, of course, now you have to replace your quarterback again. Zach Solon no longer there, but you got Carter Ferris who's showing some proven experience.
Yeah, so, and Carter's coming out party was actually against Lake Orion. Our quarterback got hurt a little bit, he's bleeding. Carter went in, his first ever high school pass was a touchdown. So he's a gamer, and we're expecting great things from Carter.
Talk about your running game, of course, a little bit, because in a Veer, you have to have a very good running back in that Veer option offense. So how's the running situation looking?
Well, we lost all 4 of our key ball carriers last year, and they were all really, really good. But it's a balanced offensive attack, and we have quite a few guys we think can step in, and those are big shoes to fill. But that's going to be the big test to see how good we're going to be, is how good are those kids coming in to try to make those plays.
What are your expectations this year, Coach?
I'm not sure yet. As you heard all these guys say today, our league is ridiculously tough, and there's no easy games. So we're going to try to get better. We have a lot of young guys that are going to play early in the year. We have to get better early because obviously the competition's tough. So we'll see what happens. We're going to try to compete.
I got Troy Athens football coach Billy Keenest here. First year at Troy Athens, hoping to turn around a 14-42 record since 2011. Talk about the I know you don't like to talk about the past, but you were the offensive coordinator at Athens under Josh Hepner. Talk about how Coach Hepner's helped you with your coaching style.
Yeah, Coach Hep, he's been a big help. He's really just kind of taught me about managing a program and kind of communication with parents and kids and different things. So he's over at Adams now, and I wish him all the best, and he's a great friend of mine.
Talk about your quarterback, of course, Bobby Burney. Very good quarterback a year ago. Young quarterback. What are your expectations for Bobby Burney?
Bobby is a great kid, great leader. It's a new system for him, so he's never really ran this type of offense, but he's been great in the summer. I think what we're going to do fits his skill set. I'm expecting big things out of Bobby this year.
What is your expectations this year?
Our expectations are to work each day and to get better. We have a long way to go. I mean, we didn't win a game last year, so we got to get better. That's my expectations, is to work every day and get better.
We got West Bloomfield football coach Ron Bellamy here, of course. Coach Bellamy, you went to state final a year ago. You're replacing a lot of talent, though, but you got a lot back.
Yeah, we're excited about this group. Last year's team made a state final. That was a great accomplishment for our high school, for our community, for the kids in our program. But, we're setting our sights on this 2018 season, and the kids have been working hard. And, this is the fun part about it, losing the talent but trying to develop the next batch.
Talk about CJ a little bit, of course. He's your starting quarterback now. What is the expectations for Mr. CJ Harris this year?
To be himself. CJ replaces Bryce Veasley, 2-year starter for us. Bryce has moved on to Bowling Green, and CJ, learned behind a great player in Bryce, but CJ has to be the best CJ. That's all we asked him to do. He's surrounded with some talented players, so we just hope that CJ can be the leader that he's poised to be.
What is your expectation this year?
To compete every game, to compete every practice, to get better, and most importantly for us is to have fun.
Last season was kind of a very odd year. You won 4-5 a year ago. So talk about what happened last year with that group.
We graduated a lot of seniors a year before, and so we were really young last year. We got a lot, about 14 seniors coming back, returning starters. So we're really excited about this season. But last year was kind of a trial through fire, and we got to hand it to us a lot, which personally I think is good for our program, good for our boys coming back. They kind of had that chip on their shoulder because they don't want it to happen again.
Talk about your tough schedule. You got to play River Rouge, and then you got to play Davis, and your tough non-conference. So talk about that for you guys.
Yeah, one thing about Coach Connolly, he always wants us to play the best. He always wants to open up with a real quality opponent. We want to end the season the same way, head into the playoffs. We kind of want to be battle-tested. We want to know what we got right out the gate, straight off. So last year, Davidson game, triple overtime, barn burner. Then, of course, playing our tough OAA schedule really helps you prepare for if you're fortunate enough and blessed to make it to the offseason.
What's your expectations this year?
We don't really set expectations. We just want to get better every day, and we'll take it how it comes. One expectation we have academically is that we better be sound and on an honor roll as a team. So once we take care of that, we believe everything else will take care of itself.
I got the head coach, the defending state champion, Division I state champ, Clarkson Wolves, Kurt Richardson here. Kurt, it's been a really nice year last year, winning the whole thing, but some questions heading into the year for you guys.
There's always questions. There was questions last year too.
Talk about the team that you have. Of course, your running back situation. You have a very good line coming in, and then you have two good running backs coming. Talk about the impact of the running game and how it's going to help young quarterback and Jake Jensen develop.
Well, we're a run-first team. We always have been, and that will allow Jake to pick and choose the passing game. And he's a very capable kid, and we got very capable wide receivers. So I think as the season advances, we'll become, a little more balanced.
What's your expectation this year, Kurt?
Our expectations are the same as every year. We want to win the first game first. We want to win our league. We want to beat Lake Orion, and we want to make a run in the playoffs.
What is your week one opponent against Granville? Talk about that matchup before I let you go.
Granville's a very good program. They got like 18 starters back. They play smash mouth football. So it's going to be a great game in the big house.
In addition to looking forward to a competitive season, coaches also paid tribute to outgoing coach John Harrington. Farmsdale's Harrison High School will be closing at the end of the school year due to declining enrollment. Harrington has been the only head coach the Hawks have had since the school opened in 1970. He has had more wins than any coach in Michigan prep football history and has led the school to 13 state football championships.
As I went into this last year, and truthfully at Harrison, we're not trying to stress that it's last year. We just want business as usual. We're in a unique situation. We'll have about 600 students in the school. And we have a lot of good athletes. We have 15 returning lettermen, 3 starters on offense, 4 on defense, and there's going to be, truthfully, a lot of legacy stuff and hoopla around the school. And I'm telling the team, concentrate on one thing, going out and trying to win the game. That's the only thing that really matters. The other things will all come. But appreciate it, Eric, having this. I've enjoyed this, and I've enjoyed the relationship with all the coaches in this league. All great competitors, no question about it. Thank you.
That'll do it from Rochester High School for OAA Media Day. The football season kicks off August 23rd. The Lake Orion Dragons will be at the Big House playing the Lapeer Lightning. For ONTV News, I'm Sammy Termina.
Thanks, Sammy. And with that, we'll wrap up this edition of ONTV News. On behalf of the hardworking ONTV News crew, I'm Stacy Calloway. Thanks for watching.